Hey, welcome back to Max Day Horsemanship. Glad you could be with me. Well, I've mentioned before that my videos vary in length depending on the subject matter, and well, today it's probably going to be a pretty short one because what I want to show you today isn't going to take long to show you, but it's an important topic anyhow, which is why I'm doing a video. And it's all about, well, not making things into something they're not. And I've mentioned that before, and you can apply this to, symptoms versus problems. Is it really a problem or is it the symptom? And then there's the, what, never mind what. Figure out why. That's very important too. And while this is kind of along the same lines, is don't make things personal between you and the horse. It's not personal. And whether you want to get your horse to do something it already knows or you're trying to teach it something, the same principle applies, because a lot of people, when the horse doesn't do something right, it's, oh, that's a bad horse. No, it's not bad. It doesn't even know the difference between good and bad. And it's up to you to make sure that the horse knows what you want. Well, whether you're teaching it or cueing it, either way, it's up to you to make sure that the horse knows what you want. It's up to you to be clear. And you don't want to make it personal. It's simply about getting the horse to do what you want it to do. It's not about a personal issue. It's not about who the horse is. It's never personal. And I'm going to show you a few things that, this same principle can be applied to just about anything, but I'm going to use a really simple one, is I'm just going to ask her to move her back end over. And this is not the same horse. I have more than one grade, by the way. So this is a different one than I had in the last time where I actually had her move her back end over. But it's still the same thing. And it wouldn't matter which one. This one just happened to be the closest to the door. So I grabbed this one. And she's a good girl. She'll do well for the demo that I want to do. So with no further waste of time talking, I'm going to get right into it here. When you're doing something, no matter what it is, don't focus on the horse itself. And you'll notice that when I ask the horse to do something, well, in most cases I'm actually looking at the camera. I'm not even looking at the horse. But I'm not looking at her head. I'm not looking at her eyes. For example, I want her to move the back end over. I'm looking at the back end because that's all that matters to me, is what the back end does, because that's what I'm concerned with, is getting the back end to do something. Now I want the back end to move over. I don't care what her front end's doing. And you'll notice that when I do this, I'm not looking her in the eye. I'm not looking at her head. I don't really care. I mean, watching the head to see if they pin their ears. Well, if you're doing it wrong, that may be important, but if you're not doing it wrong, it doesn't matter because they're not going to pin their ears at you. I hope. I don't know. I don't notice because I'm not looking in that area, because I'm only concerned with what the back end does. So I'm going to ask her back end to move over, and since we don't do this a lot with the halter on, I actually have to touch her. And there we go, the back end moves over. And at no time during that process, get back in front of the camera here, at no time did I ever look her in the eye. All I was looking at was the back end, because that's all I cared about. And that's where you don't make it personal. You're strictly interested in what the back end's doing, in this case. Could be any other thing you're asking the horse to do. But I'm going to do it one more time. I'm not going to look at her head. I'm looking at the back end because that's the only thing that matters. And, well, quite frankly, sometimes just looking at it makes it work. And there you go. That's all I cared about was the back end. I didn't care about the front end. I don't worry about it. I'm not looking at it because we don't want to make it personal. For example, if you want her to pick up her feet, well, you're looking at the feet. You're not looking at the head. If you want her to move, you're looking at the body in general and the part that you want to move. You're not looking at the head. You don't make it personal. It does not become a confrontational thing, because if you start looking directly at the eyes, then all of a sudden it's like, would you like somebody staring at you? No. Well, she might not mind, but that's not the point. It's a thing where you want to separate things. Keep things separate. Don't make one thing become another. This is not personal at all. We don't want to make it personal. We simply want her to move her back end over. And so that's all we're going to do, is make the back end move over. There we go. Back end moved over. I actually have to touch this one today. That's odd. She's usually much better than that, but oh well. But after we're done, if we want to look at her, that's okay. But even now, I'm not really looking at her. I'm cuddling her, I'm rubbing on her and everything, but I'm looking at you because we're not trying to make things personal. We don't want to intimidate her. We don't want to develop any kind of a confrontation. So anyhow, that's about it. Simple, short to the point is no matter what you're doing with the horse, don't make it personal. Make sure you don't mix things together. Keep things separate so that what the horse is actually doing and its person you keep those things separate. Because no matter what she does or does not do for me, well, I kind of look at it, that's up to me, how successful we are in that regard. And I'm still going to like this horse. So we don't want to make it personal and get her worried and concerned that when I'm around, all of a sudden I'm going to be judging her and getting angry with her or unhappy, which, well, I've talked about that. You just don't do that stuff. And, well, it's not something I do anyhow because, quite honestly, I've never met a horse I don't like. Have a good day.